This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin.
Well, good day, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman. Today is Friday, December 20th, 2024. So glad you could join us here today. Coming up a little later on in the program, we are going to visit with the folks of agmarket.net to find out what happened in the closing markets. But first, we're going to talk with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. As a government shutdown looms and the Congress is scrambling to try to find a continuing resolution to keep the budget funded past the new year, it also means an extension for the Farm Bill is in danger. We talked with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig to get his take on the situation here this morning. We talked with Representative Zach Nunn earlier this week. He was pretty positive that we were going to see some relief for ag in a continuing resolution, possibly the extension of the Farm Bill for another year, and now it looks like it's in trouble. Can you kind of give us an update on where things are standing from what you understand?
Yeah, sure. As we sit here talking on Friday morning, of course, we're staring down the deadline here for needing to get a budget approved in order to prevent a government shutdown, a federal government shutdown. And so, I remain hopeful today that something can in fact be done. But you've seen two attempts at it now. Look, what's important here is that we get something done that can keep the lights on for government. It's frankly costly to shut the government down, and it's unnecessary cost. And I get the idea. Let's extend into next year so that the new Congress and the new administration can really take a clean look at what the budget needs to look like, where some trimming needs to happen, those types of things. But the other very pressing thing for us is we still need that extension to the Farm Bill. And so far, that extension has been included in every version that's gone before the House. It's been voted down, of course, but we would hope and expect that the Farm Bill extension will be in whatever package does move. And so I know our congressional delegation is working hard to ensure that that's the case.
Yeah, there definitely seems to be a lot of gridlock, and we know that obviously there has to be bipartisan solutions to it because there is a razor-thin margin in the House. But it seems like there's a lot of infighting as well to get it done. And, a lot of constituents are really relying on there, especially the farm constituents, to get that done because it also affects people that need things like SNAP and food programs. They're relying on that as well. And so we're looking at what it is, the shutdown of the Farm Bill would be the end of the day today also if it doesn't get extended, correct?
We're coming up the end of year. There's various drop-off points for farm programs that hit, and some of them already have dropped off because there's no extension. Others will be at the end of the calendar year. Others are extended out until there's a budget. There's a variety of things that happen. But here back to basics, right? We want the certainty that comes with knowing what we have for farm programs. And even if that has to come in the form of a one-year extension, it does at least provide, and you're correct in pointing out that this isn't just, farm programming, it's also food programming that's in here. So again, let's bring certainty. And then, by the way, and I'm encouraged by the comments that have been made by Senator Thune, who's the incoming majority leader in the Senate from South Dakota, and G.T. Thompson, House Ag Chair, that there will be a farm bill next year, and G.T. wants to move it as quickly as he can in the new Congress. So I think there's an urgency that folks are feeling on the Hill to get something done sooner rather than later. So, that's the next piece, which is extension is fine and needed, but let's not lose the momentum here and get this next 5-year Farm Bill done.
Now, there's also talk of something called the Farm Act that was kind of brought in to help farmers through some of the situations that aren't covered in the Farm Bill, or at least aren't updated yet in the Farm Bill. Do you have any more information on that?
This has been one of those things that's been negotiated as what kind of disaster assistance would be provided for farmers, particularly across the Southeast. Thankfully, Iowa, while we did have some severe weather and flooding, we have not seen the kind of damage like certainly those folks have. So, it's not as much of a direct impact on us, but we know that as it relates to U.S. agriculture, disaster assistance, unfortunately, is one of those important conversations. Now, I would also stress that this is why we should also ensure that we have an adequate safety net just on an ongoing basis, things like crop insurance to help farmers when they are dealing with disasters. And hopefully that can bring down the cost of some of this ad hoc disaster assistance that we end up doing from time to time. It just drives home that, let's focus on investing year over year on risk management tools for farmers like crop insurance.
That again was Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. And we'll take a short break right now and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. When we come back, it's the closing markets. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net. Welcome back to Ag Matters PM here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. Time to go through the closing markets, and we're talking right now with Jason Meyer of agmarket.net. Jason, what did we see out of that grain trade today?
We saw a nice move. If you're a bull here, we had a nice reversal on the charts yesterday and more continuation today for corn and beans to the upside. So very, very impressive trade today.
Now, we know for a couple of days there, or even a little bit longer, the soybean trade was really taking it on the chin, and now we've had 2 days of upward momentum. Is this just kind of a bounce back, or is it just kind of a wait and see how this all pans out, and you're not going to have a down day every day?
Yeah, it feels like we made near 4-year lows on soybeans. We got great weather in South America. The Brazilian real has been dropping compared to the dollar, and I think the market just kind of said, okay, we've had enough to the downside for now, and just nice news today to take the market higher. And the fact that we got China bought 500,000 tons of beans, and they're buying some U.S. beans because they're so dry. They're going to put these in their reserves here. And then on the corn today, we had another export sales announcement to Colombia. So down in these lower levels, we're seeing some sales be made on the export side, especially on soybeans.
All right, and was corn kind of along for the ride, or was it having some good news there today as well?
Yep, corn felt like it was along for the ride, but we bounced off some technical support yesterday, and it just more follow through buying to the upside. But when you have beans up 25-30 cents off their lows from yesterday, it's kind of hard for corn to stay stagnant.
All right, let's move over to the livestock side of things. I know cattle and hogs have had a rough couple of days. Cattle on feed report will be out after the close. What kind of things are we hoping to see, and what kind of things do we see in that market today?
So first of all, it feels like the cattle and the hog market have both been following the stock market very closely here. Stock market rebounded, and I think the cattle market really followed suit today and had a good move to the upside.
So what kind of things are we looking at, though, maybe to see in that cattle on feed report we think this afternoon? Then we got the quarterly hogs report coming up as well on Monday.
Yep, so we're just going to see what the placements on cattle are today here in the marketings. I would say that's the big thing. And then on the hogs on Monday, our exports have been a little bit behind last year's pace on hogs. So we'll see what that report has to say on Monday.
All right. Well, if folks want to talk a little bit more about some marketing plans or set up some strategies with agmarket.net, what's the best way for them to get in touch, Jason?
Check us out at agmarket.net and give myself or one of my teammates a call.
All right. Well, Jason Meyer is our guest here today on the closing markets. Thanks so much for the insight. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you, and everybody have a very Merry Christmas.
That again was Jason Meyer of agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and take a look at those closing numbers. You can find them at iowaagnet.com. March corn up 5.5 at $4.46 1/4. Soybeans for January up 11.5 at $9.74 1/2. Soybean meal up $10.40 at $2.94.50. Soy oil down 53 cents at $39.48. Chicago wheat unchanged at $5.33 even. Kansas wheat up 1.5 at $5.44 3/4. Minneapolis spring wheat up 3.5 at $5.90 1/4. And oats down 4.5 at $3.51 1/4. Live cattle up $1.85 at $188.40. Feeders up at $1.12 at $255.60. Lean hogs up $2.30 at $85.92. Pork cutouts unchanged, $92.47. And Class 3 milk up 34 cents at $19.83. That's been our closing market recap, and that brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, X, and on our LinkedIn channels. Also follow us here on YouTube, and you can subscribe and hit that bell icon and be notified each time we put out a new video project. Also, don't forget about the IAM podcast, Between the Pods, and much more, all available on our website. Also, we have ag analysis, market analysis sent to you free of charge 3 times a day, openings, middays, and closings, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. From the iARN studios in Des Moines, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson, Andy Peterson, and Riley Smith, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.